Hey boys and girls, guys and gals. What I've done is I've retired the alley bows. Both of them, the strings were they're getting really bad. They're getting really frayed on the ends where they are on the cia and in the string knock. And they're just really coming apart there. So I'll be getting some new strings, but I'm going to retire those bows. I should say I'm getting some new bows. And whenever they get here, and then I'll do an unboxing and you would see the bow work. I'll string it and you'll see me do all that stuff. But I'm going to get me a much heavier bow. I'm going to get the 100-pound, either the military Yamaha or industrial, imperial strength. I don't know why I said industrial. Imperial strength bow. It'll be right around 100, 110 pounds, and we'll do thumb draw with that because I'm not doing Slavic draw. I could, but I'm not going to be doing fast shooting with those bows. Obvious reasons, I would be getting maybe 3 arrows in 10 seconds, or thereabouts. But I don't think those types of limbs are made for fast shooting like that. Steady shooting, yes, maybe. Fast shooting, no. So I'm going to snatch up the 100 pound. I'm going to look at another bow they got there, the Janissary, or however it's pronounced, and get probably a 40-pound bow on that one because they don't come real heavy. A lot of those bows don't. This is a 35. This is PMZ Archery 35. I have the 50 over here as well, and then I still got my 60 strung from Deer Seeker Archery. And I'm planning on getting a couple more Deer Seeker bows. So there'll be 80, 75, 80 pounds, and then they have 90 and 95 pound. Those are recurve bows with shells on the right side. Primary hunting bow is what I'll be using that for, and I'll be using the the tab with 3 under pulling towards me like this. So I'll get a 28-inch draw out of it, obviously. Here, I'll show you. I'll be loading on the other side of the bow, obviously. I don't know. And doing the 3 under and coming back to about right here. So when you look at your draw length, what you're measuring is the string to the front of the bow. And a lot of people will say, oh, that's at the back of the bow. No, it's the front of the bow. So right about there is 28 inches. So roughly, and yeah. I'm still using the Easton Black Max. Those are good arrows for hunting. I will be getting some more of those as well, but I will be also trying other arrows out and giving you my input on how well those do and do not do. Be getting my deer tags this coming week, in between tomorrow and next Friday. I do work, so it's a little harder for me to do videos. I do so many in the daytime, or when I get off work I come in and do them at night if I know I can get away with it, and shoot a couple arrows and then post, or I'll wait to post while I'm at work. So it just all depends on the situation. I work around my schedule to get more content out there. What I'm showing you is how I do the technique. So when I'm doing the 3-arrow combat archery drill, you see me hold them in a pinwheel configuration. So, holding, like always, the white knock is out, the yellow knocks, I'm going to call them knocks, but they're fletchings. The fletchings, the white one is out, the 2 yellow ones are towards me as I would be loading them. Same with this, I'm putting this in between my thumb and index finger, the first joint of my index finger. These 2 fingers will be pulling the string back. I'll be getting my pinky out of the way, and I will be shooting one at a time and go as fast as I can. Sometimes I trip or slip and don't do it right, but you only get to see the finished product of the 3 arrows that I can do smoothly. So I might do a few takes, maybe take a couple of minutes for 5 seconds of video. So, but it's worth it. Shows you that this can be done. Now you get a weaker bow, 35, 40, and you practice and you get good at that, and then you start to move up 45, 50, 55, 60, and then you can go higher. But then you're using only thumb on those heavier bows. I won't cancel out me doing that on the heavier bow. I just know that you're going to shoot 3 or 5 arrows, and you're pretty much going to be done with a 100-pound bow right there. It's 130, 140 pounds. You're not shooting very fast at all. It would be very difficult to get that heavy bow back because you're starting up here and working down. You'll see me do that every now and again with a 50 because, you know, I'll just trying to get that rhythm or motion to the release point. Okay? So you have to have your good follow through, especially with thumb. So you got this I have set up for the Slavic draw and to protect my fingers from the string. Put some duct tape around this. Underneath the knocking position, I'm knocking down, and I can do that. I can do the Slavic draw all day long, and I'm pulling back. These will go for 32 inches all the way back. So you won't have any problem doing that. Thumb draw, you can even pull even back even further because you're not. It's your wrist is put to this position. It's a little more difficult to get way back there. Thumb draw, fist forward, you can get back further. I could probably go 34 on these if I really wanted to, and I probably won't. I'll just stick with 32. A 33-inch shaft is the biggest one I got anyway, and you'll see me use those. And I'll come almost to the insert point, so on the shaft. So it's one of those things you work on. Work in progress to get that speed up, to get that accuracy there. You start off 10 feet from the target, and you work your way back. And I can go back to 40 yards and do the target. I've done it. There are videos. And what's weird is they'll watch the inside videos more than what they will the outside videos. So we don't get so many views on the outside videos. So even though it's rainy and crappy right now, it will be for a couple of days, I'll be shooting inside no matter what. Even if it's nice, sunny, and 100 degrees outside, you know, arrow's going to fly real good through the warm air. But that's not where you want to practice. Hunting this is now archery season, so you want to get out there and practice in the cold so you can see where your drop is. So when your arrow drops at a certain distance, 40 yards, then you'll definitely want to know exactly where it's going to drop with those broadheads on those arrows. So I'll be practicing that. I'll be using some different arrows in the next week. You'll see that, but I'll get up in the morning, I'll shoot 3 or 4 videos and then post them primarily through the day and give you any inside information on deer and where they're really focused at in the state of Indiana. If you live in Indiana, you'll know. You'll check your DNR, Department of Natural Resources in your state, and see what's going on. They have a website, and they have a dedicated magazine as well. It's free. You normally go to Walmart, whatever sporting goods store, and if they distribute, which they do here at Walmart, you can get a free magazine, and they'll tell you all the ins and outs, and that we're up to 6 deer, I think, or 6 non-antler deer and 1 antler deer. I think total 7, but I got to double check everything. I'll go there and get my tags, see what I got to do. But, you know, I'm really probably just going to get 1 tag, just go after an antler deer. Like I did last year, I never did use it. It's expired, so I'll just go ahead and get me another one and go from there. So, more information on the bows when they get here. And I will be using, like I said, the heavier bow for the 95 for the deer hunting that I will be doing. I might take a 50-pound out or the 60 one time and rotate the bows and see which one is going to work for me on that day or whatever I get. Because last year I went twice. The deer were too far away for me to engage, and when I went to step towards them, they were moving away from me. And then the second time, that was the first time. Second time, they were also too far away from me, but I had a doe come up around me, and I was just waiting for a buck to be following when she was a little doe. And she come up and come into my elbow and started nudging me like she was looking for food. So she had obviously been around humans and probably domesticated to some level. So I'm looking at that. I'm just like, today's not going to be a good day to hunt either. And then I was just working too much last winter and really couldn't go out that much. So, and then we had quite a bit of snow too. So I was doing a lot of seasonal work outside and then normal work inside. So, but anyway, deer hunting. Make sure you know your ins and outs before you go. Make sure you know your technique and what bow you're going to be using and how to use it and what the arrow does at that distance you want to shoot. So I'm normally at max 40 yards. So that's where I normally set a target and just practice shooting that with thumb draw. And I'm really good at that region or distance. So when I look at other people doing their Slavic draw or their quick shooting, they're shooting way closer than 5 yards. They're probably 10, 15 feet away. I'm 20, 21 feet away at 6 meters is where I'm at. So that's about 20 feet is my middle. So my back foot is at 21. My front foot would be 19 or so, because this is my middle. This is when you're shooting archery, you'll see them step on a line. The middle line is their line, and they can't put both feet in front of it, but they can put one foot in front of it, and that's where they shoot when they're shooting their competition 20 to 70 yards, 100 yards, or whatever they're doing. But they're using specific type of bows that we don't have when you're just using this. It's a stick with a string, and you've got a good place to put your hand, and your thumb is your rest on these types of bows, or your top of your index finger, depending upon what you're doing. These are ambi bows, ambidextrous. You can use these in either way. You can use all three forms of archery, to include the Elvish form or Comanche form, however you want. So Apache, Comanche, Indigenous, I don't know. But you see that in Prey, if you know the movie Prey. The female actor is the one that's shooting the bow, and she's using this form. But on a lighter bow, that's not going to hurt. On a 50 or heavier bow, you try to do something like that, you're going to have a little bit of problem with the wrist and elbow. Okay? Same thing with the Elvish version in the Rings of Power on, was it Amazon? Yeah, Amazon. You watch that, and you see that they shoot the same way. So it's a different way of shooting, and they're still shooting on this side, but a reverse Slavic draw, Asiatic, and yeah, that's the way it is. So without saying too much more, I will leave you to the rest of the day, and hopefully you found this a little bit more informative, but we'll give you guys some more information on what's going on with these different types of bows I'm getting, so that way you guys can see what they're doing and how easy they are to do, either thumb draw combat, archery, or the 3-arrow Slavic draw, or as the Mediterranean Western style of archery, and penetration characteristics and so on and so forth. I'll even get a ballistic dummy eventually. So I might get the bust. They're cheaper, but they take weeks to get here. So we'll see how it goes. All right, you guys stay alive, stay safe, stay alive, and we'll see you again.